Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second volunteer workshop of 2021 with earthday.org. We are so excited to bring these amazing, beautiful people on with us today to thank them for their amazing partnerships and their volunteer work with earthday.org, not only with Earth Day 2021, but some of these are longstanding partners that we've had for quite some time. And we are going to head straight into our presentation. So you'll be able to see our beautiful faces on the side when we're talking, and we'll roll right into our presentation. Evan, did you want to say hello as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Evan Raskin. I'm earthday.org's National Campaign Manager, and we're so happy to be here with all of you today. We've got a whole lot that we'd love to cover, ranging from opportunities for all of y'all to get involved and to get to know some of our superstars that have been volunteering with us for some time now and are starting to make some really big waves. And so let's go ahead and take it away, Tara.
Sounds good. All right, thanks. So as you can see, we are going to be talking to everyone a little bit about Earth Day every day and recommitting humanity to restoring our Earth, which is our theme for 2021. Restore Our Earth has been a really popular theme. A lot of great things have come out of that. And as we know, we not only need to restore our Earth for the environment, but also for humanity. And I am Tara Pascarosa. I'm the National Campaign Director with earthday.org. And Evan?
Yes, as I had mentioned, I am the National Campaign Manager, and the two of us work together to bring opportunities for people across the nation to be able to do what they want to do to contribute to the environmental movement at large. There are so many different ways that people have been getting involved, which we'd love to be able to share with all of you and share with you how we have been going about doing that for Earth Day 2021, which had just passed on April 22nd this past month. Why don't we go ahead and dive on in?
We can talk about how there were hundreds of millions of people around the globe for 2021 to restore our Earth and take part in Earth Day this year. We were virtual once again this year, and we engaged volunteerism and activism, supporting not only natural but technological solutions and community-based solutions to all of our global challenges this year.
Yes, so restoring our Earth focused not only on any one solution to solving the globe's complex environmental problems, but recognizing that it's only through a combination of these values that we will be able to create a sustainable, equitable future for the one planet that we all share. And luckily, by engaging in volunteers, supporters, and advocates around the country and around the world, we were able to raise hundreds of millions of voices together to be able to project that collective vision of what should be done in order for us to achieve that future for ourselves.
Yeah, and while you guys are watching the show, please feel free to comment and ask questions. We will have our 7 amazing partners and volunteers available to answer questions too, but you can start streaming questions now. They will show up live on the presentation as well, so you can add your name in the chat, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide, please. So we are awarding and recognizing some of our amazing volunteers and partners. They range all over the country and all different facets of our campaigns, from our green cities to our nonprofits to our faith partners and our universities and our Virginia leaders that we have brought from our Virginia campaign, and our university students as well. So we're very excited to have and welcome today Michelle Wiseman from the City of Atlanta Mayor Bottom's office. We have Ben Auger with the Sustainability at George Mason University, Sarah Paulos with Interfaith Power and Light, Tracey Leverty with Keep Virginia Beautiful, Gwen Cassidy with Managing Love, Kim Noble with Green the Church, and we have Dilshad Dinaw, who's a student at George Washington University. And we can move on to Michelle Wiseman. So we're going to bring Michelle Wiseman on with us so we can chat a little bit about her amazing work. And as I mentioned earlier, Michelle Wiseman works with Mayor Bottom's office of One Atlanta, and she is the Director of Waste Diversion and Outreach for the City of Atlanta at the Mayor's office of One Atlanta. She has over 12 years in materials management, and her emphasis is educating and engaging communities on the circular economy as it relates to waste diversion, sustainability, and equity issues within the city. Her responsibilities include collaborating with internal departments and key external stakeholders to support environmental outreach and equitable development within communities. We specifically want to thank Michelle and the office at the City of Atlanta with Mayor Bottoms for her continued efforts to work with EarthDay.org despite the deadly 2021 Atlanta spa shootings right before Earth Day. They pushed on and they engaged with their community, and they were able to work with us and provide a video of Mayor Bottoms. And we really want to thank them for all their amazing support with environmental justice as well. So we'll open it up to you, Michelle, to let us know what the City of Atlanta has been doing since Earth Day and how we can continue to work strategically with your office.
So Tara, thank you so much for having me. And of course, thank you for inviting Mayor Bottoms to be a part of the whole EarthDay.org. It was really an incredible opportunity for us to highlight what's going on within the city of Atlanta. We really just learned within the last few weeks, unfortunately, that Mayor Bottoms will not be seeking re-election, but she's a huge advocate of the environment. She's been featured not only on earthday.org, but she also was in a conversation with Chelsea Clinton and Jane Fonda about the environment and about what people can do to help the environment from going forward. So although Mayor Bottoms will not be seeking re-election, she's a huge advocate. She's a native Atlantan, and I know that she'll be still out there on the front lines. And during her administration, I'll just highlight a few of the things that she did. And the office that I'm a part of is the Office of One Atlanta, that includes not only the Office of Resilience, but she also created an Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, which not only focuses on immigrant affairs, that's part of that, but also LGBTQ rights and a lot of other things that are really important to the mayor in terms of equity. We are trying to, I'm not sure if anyone has been to Atlanta, but we have a huge homeless issue. So we're looking at how we can increase the access to affordable housing and equity in terms of food. I do waste diversion, and it's really interesting because we see so much food going to waste. And food waste also in terms of resilience is a huge opportunity because we can take some of that wasted food that is currently creating methane in our landfills and take that to feed hungry people. So that's one of the big initiatives that we're currently working on, and I'm sure we'll go beyond Mayor Bottoms' tenure in terms of making that a reality. We're working with some huge partners nationally to figure out how to make all of that happen. I did want to say that crime, unfortunately, you mentioned the shooting right after, this year. Crime has been a huge issue and something that the next administration will have to work on. But that's why we have to understand that all of these things work together. So it's sustainability, it's equity, it's the economy, it's all of these things. And that's how we're all going to work together to balance out and make sure that everyone has an opportunity, because I always say that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Kudos to you. And Michelle, we've got a question for you, if you don't mind answering on our chat, from Lori Dameron.
Yeah.
So do you know if your landfills there capture the methane and convert to energy to power homes in the area?
Yeah, there's actually one of the largest landfills in the Southeast is the Seminole landfill that is like in the next county, like 20 minutes from me. And yes, they do capture methane. There's also a group that we're currently working with, which is an intergovernmental group for many counties within the Atlanta area to come together to address our waste and energy needs collectively. And there's also, we have the largest airport in the world, and they are also looking at converting some of their waste to biogas or some type of fuel. So yes, the largest one in the Southeast.
Wonderful. Does. Thank you so much. Great question, Lori. And keep those questions coming out there, viewers. I know that our amazing volunteers and partners would love to hear from you. And so are there any other questions for Lori right now? We keep them coming, and for Michelle, not for Lori. I keep those coming, and Michelle will be here until we are done working and introducing our amazing partners and volunteers.
Yes, I'll be here for the duration. So thank you for having me again, Tara.
Thanks so much, Michelle. You're an amazing partner.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right. So we are going to continue to move on and thank our amazing volunteers. And you're up, Evan.
Sure thing. Next up, we have Dilshad Dinaw from GW University. Dilshad is correct me if I'm wrong, a rising senior at George Washington University, and where she studies political science, business, and communications. Over the last semester, Dilshad was one of our earthday.org interns, helping us out on a variety of programs within the national campaign. And we wanted to give her a highlight here within our workshop today to thank her for her tireless efforts as an intern over this last semester. Dilshad, out of all of the different projects that you worked on which were some of the ones that really caught your attention? What really excited you about being part of the Earth Day 2021 movement?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I loved interning with earthday.org and the national campaign. I would definitely say a highlight was the Green City outreach for the Global Day of Conversation, like we were just talking about with Mayor Bottoms. That was a truly unique experience. I love getting submissions in from not only Green City leaders around the United States, but all over the world. So that was really fun. Thank you so much for having me and teaching me so much during this internship experience.
Yeah, it was absolutely our pleasure to have you. And you made a really big difference with us being able to achieve the scale that we were looking for in these programs. As far as your work with Earth Day goes in comparison to your studies at GW, did you find that there was a lot of overlap? What inspired you to take an internship at earthday.org to begin with?
Definitely, because I am majoring in political science. The reason I've chosen to go in that direction is because I'm really passionate about the environment and climate change and, really making a difference. And one thing I've really enjoyed is at GW, we have been able to kind of incorporate climate literacy and climate change into so many of our classes. So this past semester, I was taking international security politics, and throughout the semester, I focused on climate change and how it presents such a huge threat to domestic and international security. And I was able to take so much that I've learned with Earth Day and apply it to my classes, and take stuff I've learned in my classes and apply it to my internship with earthday.org, which was really amazing.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that you were able to find those intersections between your studies and the work that we've been doing. And it sounds like you were able to find a way for us to contribute to the... I'm sorry, please pardon the fire engine outside. But the question that I had for you, Dilshad, is it sounds like you've been able to find a way to turn your passion for these subjects into real action. And so my question is, for other students that are looking to make a difference in this area or others, what would be your advice to them?
I would definitely say, start local, start doing something small, in your local town, local community, and slowly start working your way out. I think that's the best way to make change. And, you can even do something simple. I started in high school planting milkweed for monarch butterflies around my local town and contributing to the monarch butterfly migratory routes. And that was really fun and a great experience. And, slowly building out now that I'm in college doing internships. I'm currently doing another sustainability internship for the UN, a consultant to the UN, which is really exciting. And, just working your way out from there. Start local and start growing.
That's some really good advice, Dilshad. I'm looking forward to seeing how you continue to build from here. If anybody has any other questions for Dilshad, please feel free to put them in the comment section, and she'll also be here alongside Michelle and the rest of our great guests to answer any follow-up questions at the end.
Yeah, and thanks again, Dilshad. We are really happy to still have you on board as a volunteer, and we'll continue to support you in your endeavors as well. So once an Earth Day partner and volunteer, always an Earth Day volunteer and partner.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, so it looks like we have a question on the screen now too, and we can answer this one now. This is from Alex Siegel, and he's asking if we have opportunities for high school students to volunteer this summer. And Dilshad, you could talk a little bit about that too. And Michael also says, I most recently participated in the Earth Day Country Review and would like to do more. So that's exciting. The Earth Day Country Review was actually something really cool that we came up with to have our volunteers help us list 5 Earth Day events that happen in countries around the world. So we had so many volunteers that got excited to help us with that. Like hundreds of volunteers jumped on board to help us with that. And we will have opportunities for high school students to volunteer as well this summer. A great way to do that too, if we could share that in the chat on YouTube, Halsey or Evan, is to make sure they get involved with the Great Global Cleanups. So you can always do cleanups, and those are a really easy way to get engaged. But Dilshad, you mentioned a way that you got engaged in high school. Are there any other ways that you would like to share with them that the youth can get more involved?
I would say definitely, high schools are a great place to start working with earthday.org, even for the education team. I created some advocacy packets, and there's tons of information in Earth Day's education resource library for how students can get involved locally as well as globally. So definitely check out those resources. And like Tara was saying, the Great Global Cleanup campaign on earthday.org's website is another place you should definitely check out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Dilshad. And she'll be here to answer any other questions that you may have while we move on to our next awesome volunteer and partner. All right. So we're going to bring Mr. Ben Auger on board. And Ben is an amazing sustainability program manager for education and outreach at George Mason University. He supports the efforts there to reach carbon neutrality through comprehensive oversight of education, outreach, and engagement programs and initiatives, as well as communication materials. In addition, Ben serves as the Environment and Sustainability Living Learning Community Coordinator and teaches as an adjunct faculty member with the School of Integrated Studies. So Ben has been a longstanding partner of ours with the national campaign as well as with the Virginia campaign. And we really want to thank him for his ongoing support with the Global Earth Challenge app that he helped us create to integrate with our universities and work with us on the Mobilize You campaign. So I'll let Ben take the lead on giving a better description and elaborate a little bit more about the amazing work he has done with and for earthday.org.
It's not okay. Let me unmute now. Sorry about that, everyone. I was just too excited. So first, massive gratitude to Tara and Evan, all of you volunteers out there in the world, and to earthday.org for supporting this incredible initiative and the work to create a better world for people on the planet. And so we first started working together between George Mason University and earthday.org when we kind of noticed that we wanted to leverage up what we were doing at George Mason University in the world of sustainability. And earthday.org, as you all know, is the organization mobilizing people for real change. And so we sought to create an institutional partnership between George Mason University and earthday.org. We succeeded in that in 2019. And we've grown that partnership over time in the Virginia campaign, the first state-based campaign earthday.org did, and then continue to pivot that into the national campaign efforts this year. Part of that effort is the Global Earth Challenge app, something that we felt to be such an important addition to both operations and education in higher ed to provide students with opportunities to really engage and to learn about the importance of citizen science, both for their education, but also for community and civic engagement. And so we were able to work closely with Tara, with Evan, and others from earthday.org to develop a higher education toolkit for the Global Earth Challenge app to teach people how you can integrate and infuse the Global Earth Challenge application into higher ed. And it pairs really well with Evan's awesome Mobilize You initiative. And it really tries to provide everyone within the university space, and we're hoping the educational space, to get engaged with citizen science because it's so impactful and really teaches people the importance of mobilizing individually and collectively to create real lasting change.
Awesome, Ben. And you've been a powerhouse, and we can't thank you enough for your support at George Mason University. The university itself is just held in such high regard, not only in Virginia, but all over the country and the world for the work that all of you do there. And as we've mentioned before, if anyone has any questions for Ben, please put those in the comments and they'll show up live. If you think of a question in a little bit that you want to ask, go for it. And wanted to see, Ben, are there things that you all are working on now that we can be supportive of and that we can get other volunteers involved in at George Mason?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tara. I really appreciate it. One thing that we're really excited about right now is we have what's called the Mason Sustainability Council, which is working to bring together operations and academics to advance sustainability at the institution. And so any kind of help or support for those that are in the Northern Virginia region in Virginia, or you're just passionate about sustainability in higher education, I would really encourage you through organizations you're involved in, groups you're a part of, or even just yourself individually, make pathways and make connections to our institution. Consider partnering with us. Consider becoming engaged with us. Consider, contacting the Office of Sustainability. I can share my contact information in the latter half of the session if that works. Find ways to connect, partner, collaborate, engage with our institution, because I think that collectively we can create more impactful and longer lasting change than kind of any of us individually or organizationally being separate from each other. So look at kind of what we're up to, look at what we're doing, and if that resonates and connects with you, reach out to us, because both our office and then the university, as well as can be seen from our partnership with earthday.org, is really interested in building partnerships and collaborations to scale impact.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And
thank you, Ben.
Yeah, we've shared a link to the Earth Challenge Higher Education Toolkit. We shared a press release link to that gives you more information about it. And then we're also going to be sharing a link to the homepage for the Office of the City of Atlanta, so you can take a look at the amazing things that Michelle Wiseman and her team with Mayor Bottoms are working on there too. So those will be shared right there in the chat with everyone else. And like I said, if you have questions for Ben, you can just address them that way in the comments. And we will go ahead and move on to our next amazing volunteer and partner with Interfaith Power and Light, which is Sarah Paulos.
Yes, I'd love to welcome Sarah Paulos to the stage. The Community Engagement Programs Manager for Interfaith Power and Light, the nonprofit that engages people of faith of all denominations to take bold action and inspire them to take the steps to elevate their congregations to environmental advocacy. She is also the creator of Cool Congregations, a program within IPL that helps the members be able to not only be advocates for the environment, but also create sustainable practices within their own communities as well. And we'd love to thank Sarah for all of her hard work in not only inspiring congregations to action, but also for collaborating with earthday.org and sharing faith videos for our Earth Day prayer, and her success with Sacred Ground, cultivating connections, food, faith, and climate. Thank you for joining with us today, Sarah. I think it's quite evident just from the introduction alone that you know better than most the connections between faith and the environment and the ability to inspire people in this way. But I'd love to ask you, what inspires you to become an advocate in this way?
Oh, thanks, Evan. That's a great question. Not only as a person of faith am I inspired to take action to protect this fabulous planet that we are all blessed to call home, but also for the sake of future generations, for my children, my 3 beautiful daughters, and my grandchildren, and all of the children of the earth that I've had the opportunity to know. So, yeah, big motivation there.
Absolutely.
And yeah. And I could tell a short story of how I got involved with this. A huge coal-fired power plant was planned to be built in the neighboring community where I used to live in Iowa, where the asthma rate was the highest in the state. And I knew this was not the right thing to do, but I'm not much of a stand on the street corner and hold up a protest sign sort of person. So instead, I decided to start the program Cool Congregations to help my congregation to understand climate change and reduce their carbon emissions at home as an act of faith, kind of like making a tithe to the earth. So that's how I got started in this work, and just really been grateful to have found a platform. And now I serve as the program manager for Interfaith Power and Light, which is a national nonprofit organization working with faith communities across the country to inspire and mobilize people of faith and conscience to take bold and just action on climate. And we're part of a network. There's a national organization and 40 state affiliates that advocate for just climate policies and educates about climate change through programming.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Sarah. That's a very inspiring origin story for yourself. And it sounds like some of the things that really motivated you towards taking that next step were these ideas of doing this work for family and community. And then you found a way to be able to take that sort of inspiration and spread that message to communities of faith, to make them aware of how an act of faith is an act on behalf of one's family and community. And so I definitely thank you for sharing that message with the world, and for doing it through IPL. And so I'd love to ask if there's any ways that you are currently working with Interfaith Power and Light to engage volunteers, any opportunities that would be open to our wonderful guests here with us today.
Oh, wow. Yes, there's so many opportunities. IPL does a lot of advocacy work. Right now, they are working on direct action with Line 3, encouraging people of faith and conscience and everyone to go to Minnesota starting June 4th, I think it is, or the 5th, to take part in the direct action to stop Line 3, which is a pipeline bearing tar sands oil. Then the other advocacy effort they're working on right now is to encourage people to contact their elected officials to stand in support of the infrastructure bill, to make sure that it reflects the values of your faith and your community, to make sure it's a just bill that includes provisions for everyone.
Yes.
So
I read the letter that Sarah is mentioning herself, and I think that it's wonderfully worded for us to be able to motivate members of Congress and our legislators to take action on behalf of the future of our family, our children, and the people that we hold close. And so I certainly encourage everybody to sign on if they have the opportunity. We'd love to be able to share a link to that in the chat. We'll pull that up in just a moment. And in the meantime, if anybody has further questions for Sarah, feel free to ask them now, or as we've mentioned, feel free to ask them as you think of them, and we'll be sure to give time to them when available.
Great, thank you.
Thanks so much, Sarah. You're the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll keep everyone posted on any comments that'll pop up and questions for our amazing panel, and we will move on to our next amazing partner. So we would like to thank Tracey Leverty with Keep Virginia Beautiful. She has been an amazing partner, and she enjoys helping communities with their clean and green efforts. For the past 5 years, she's been doing that as the environmental program director at Keep Virginia Beautiful through initiatives such as Adopt a Highway and 30 and 30, Green Grants. Tracey is able to connect the dots and amplify messages for environmental groups and volunteers with the common goal of beautifying every community within the Commonwealth. So not only has she been a great partner, she's I consider her to be a great friend. She has continued our Virginia campaign and with earthday.org, whereas now that I've moved on to the national director position, she's helped lead those calls that we're having quarterly now and keep that vibration and that spirit going with our Virginia group. So we really want to thank Tracey for everything that she's done. And we've worked on a few grants together and a few other things too. So thanks for all your amazing work. And Tracey, please, we want to open up the floor to you to let us know what you guys are up to at Keep Virginia Beautiful and how we can all help out.
Awesome. Thank you, Tara. My gosh, I feel like I'm among such superstars. All I did was try to keep our group together, but it was an amazing group. I really am honored to be among all of you guys and to be recognized by earthday.org. Such an amazing effort that has been put on over the last 18 months to 2 years, and I know it's been longer before I was even engaged. So Keep Virginia Beautiful, we think every day is Earth Day, and we live that way, and we want everyone else to. So we live our days trying to promote anti-litter behavior, anti-litter programs for communities that are battling it. We try to help our communities keep up with the ever-changing recycling scene, which is a task in and of itself. And then we get our hands dirty. We get out and do beautification projects like removing graffiti, doing tree plantings, helping with pollinator gardens, and the like. And we do that through so many important partnerships, one of which is the Virginia Department of Transportation. And we promote the Adopt a Highway program as a part of our relationship with VDOT, as well as support their pollinator program. We work with the Virginia State Parks, DCR, all of our state agencies. You know, it's a team effort, and Keep Virginia Beautiful as a statewide agency has an obligation to do its part to keep us all connected. And one of our earthday.org gals, who I love to death, loves to say we like to amplify everyone's message, and that's true. We want to know what everyone's doing, and as that agency, we can act as a conduit because we have that statewide audience for everyone to use. So like Tara said, I did step up after Tara was promoted and got the national director position, and we were so excited about that. But clearly we couldn't count on her amazing skills to keep us together, and I tried to fill her shoes, and she showed up more often than she didn't, and we were thankful. But I hope that, well, we're definitely keeping the group going. We've had several conversations about how we can benefit each other throughout the year and do some brainstorming about leveraging and creating new partnerships, given the strange but also opportunistic atmosphere and environment we see ourselves in now. So thank you all. A couple of things that we have coming up that I'll mention. A new effort in October of this year. Of course, it is Virginia centric, but we are going to start our very first statewide month-long cleanup effort. And that is in conjunction with statewide agencies. So all of that support will be there, interagency support with VDOT and tourism and such. And so we're going to clean up Virginia in October and hopefully grow it to be a 2 times a year program, spring and fall, like most big litter carrying states have. And we're super excited about that, as well as being engaged in the Mid-Atlantic Marine Debris Plan. Clearly, we're very integral in the Virginia part of that plan, but it's we've got some good leadership roles on some of their initiatives and objectives, and we're excited to be a part of that team as well. So join our website, find out more. We'll send an e-news once a month, no more, and follow us on social, and that's how you can find out more about what we have going on. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And we have shared links to all of our partner organizations and specifics about letters that they're working on. And please take a look at the wonderful work that all of our partners and volunteers we have been talking with on our chat. And again, if you have questions for Tracey or Sarah or Michelle or anyone that's on the panel today, Ben at GMU, you feel free to share those in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. So keep those coming. Again, we'd love to hear from you. And we will roll on to our next superstar, Gwen Cassidy.
Yes, please welcome to the stage Gwen Cassidy of Managing Love.
Hi,
Hey, Gwen. Thanks for joining us today. Gwen is quite the entrepreneur, focusing on her social impact businesses through managingproducts.org, her nonprofit managinglove.org, and her production company Vision Forward Media, all three of which are centered around her central philosophy of helping people. And she's certainly been a big help to us, especially with her support in filming for Earth Day 2020 and continuing to be a leading voice in the Virginia movement. She's also helped us at in-person events this year for Earth Day 2021 as well. And so I think it's clear to everybody here that her personal philosophy to help people has clearly turned into decisive action. And so I'd love to hear more about your thoughts on this matter, Gwen, as well as your work within all three of these organizations to help people with anything ranging from the social impact of a business to the ways that we can come together to restore our Earth.
Thank you so much, Evan. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you, Tara. I'm so grateful. I'm humbled and honored beyond words to be in such company with everybody who is also recognized for their volunteering efforts. Essentially, Managing Love houses several programs that are Earth-related endeavors. Through our Vision Forward Media company, we're so incredibly grateful that Tara believed in us and hired us to film the Virginia Earth Day Partners last year for the 50th annual celebration of Earth Day. And this year we had our very first Love Mother Earth Festival, celebrating the 51st Earth Day at the shops at Stonefield here in Charlottesville, Virginia. And really what we're trying to do is raise awareness. So we also launched the kidsclimateclub.org, which will be the majority of our efforts this year. In addition to future lovemother.earth festivals, if you find yourselves in Charlottesville, Virginia on July 23rd or on the 6-month anniversary of October 22nd, please let us know and please visit us at managinglove.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can't wait to see how those programs turn out. And if you have any questions about how to get involved in these programs or otherwise anything you'd like to know from Gwen, please feel free to ask in the sidebar.
Yeah, and I also, one of the first times I ever met Gwen, we were at a meeting in Charlottesville, and she's just one of those people that makes you feel right at home and super helpful, and she gave me a ride back to my hotel, so we got a little QT that night, and we've been friends ever since. So thanks again for always being there for earthday.org and for me personally too. So lots of good things in our future. I know we'll all continue to cross paths for certain. And we will be sharing a link to her Facebook page in the comments and chat. So feel free to take a look at that, learn a little bit more about Gwen and Managing Love. And again, keep those questions and comments coming if you have any. It was great to hear from Lori and Alex at the beginning. And now we'd love to continue to keep hearing from all of you. So we are going to move on to our last amazing partner and volunteer, but certainly not least. We're moving on to Kim Noble with Green the Church. She is a powerhouse, Chief Operations Officer for Green the Church. This is an initiative that engages Black congregations in the fight against climate change and for environmental justice. So Green the Church works to expand the role of African-American churches as centers for environmental and economic resilience. Kim spent the majority of her career working to improve the social, environmental, and public health outcomes for vulnerable communities. She's always mindful of underserved communities, and she continues to build and manage relationships with national, environmental, and progressive organizations, African-American faith leaders, and grassroots coalitions. So we would really like to thank her for her amazing work with us this year on our faith videos as well. The work that she continues to do every day for our environmental justice communities and faith communities. And really want to congratulate them on the Working with Power for Change environmental justice workshop that just took place. That was really awesome. And Kim, I'm going to hand it over to you to go ahead and tell us a little bit more about the work that you've been doing. Thanks so much. You're up, Kim. Oh, I think we might be having a little technical difficulty with Kim. Kim, we can hear you. If you can hear us, we can hear you. So I don't think she can hear us, unfortunately. But Kim, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about you, we can hear you.
Okay.
There we go.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate just the opportunity to share more about our work. Green the Church is a sustainability initiative working to create a cadre of Black church communities committed to green theology, promoting sustainable practices, and building powerful political and economic change. We currently partner with over 1,000 pastors and congregations in 8 states in the U.S., as well as with groups in the Bahamas, Ghana, Nigeria, and the UK. We're working to make sure that voices of color are at the table when we're having conversations about climate change, pollution, and climate policy. After all, it's low-income communities and communities of color who have been disproportionately impacted by climate change and pollution for far too long. So we see ourselves as helping to bridge the equity gap by standing at the intersection of the Black church and the environmental and sustainability movement. Specifically, Green the Church works to empower African American church leadership and lay people to develop practical solutions to economic and environmental issues that bring equity back into the Black community. We serve as sustainability advocates to
Awesome. Thanks, Kim. Yeah. So I think it's breaking up just a little bit on your end, Kim, and we were having a little difficulty hearing you at the end. So I certainly don't want to cut Kim off. Kim, thank you so much. I don't know if you can hear me, but we did catch most of what you were saying. And then it got a little foggy towards the end. So I apologize. But we're so happy to have Kim on board. She does amazing work. And if you have questions for Kim in the comments, that would be a great way for her to answer them. So please send them her way. And for any of our amazing panelists and recognized volunteers today, we'd love for you to share any other questions you might have. And actually, Halsey, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and just put everyone's face up on the panel so we can see what an amazing group we have of these amazing partners and volunteers with us here at earthday.org, ranging from green cities and students to professors and faith leaders and environmental justice leaders and nonprofit groups. So we can't thank you all enough. We've got a few comments from folks that are working with Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, and we've got someone that just joined us from Africa. So we're glad to see that all these folks are chiming in. And if you do have questions, please direct them to our amazing partners and volunteers. I think what we'll do now is we'll move on to the next part of our presentation. And if there's any links that anyone needs us to chime in with, please let us know. And is there anything else you want to add, Kim? I know you said we can just let you chime in one more time because I think you got cut off a little towards the end. Are you good to go? Okay. I think she's cut off a little bit, but no worries. So I think we'll just continue in the presentation if that sounds good. And thanks to all of our amazing volunteers and partners. We will be sending you all certificates and some tokens of our appreciation in the mail. So I'll be following up with all of you to get addresses, but it does look like we will be sending some things your way, and thanking you so much. We'll keep these questions coming as we continue a little bit on this presentation, but thanks so much, you guys. We couldn't do it without you. And we don't
Absolutely.
with amazing partners like you all.
Yeah, let's get one last virtual round of applause for all of our great superstar volunteers.
Yay! Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Good
Yeah,
call.
seriously. It's our partnerships that really make Earth Day achieve the scale that we do. Without all of you, we wouldn't be able to nearly reach the 1 billion people that participate in Earth Day every year.
That's the truth. That is the truth. And we're looking forward to forging and nurturing our relationships as we continue for Earth Day every day. And looking forward to some workshops with all of you that we can hopefully do in person down the road. But in the meantime, we can do them on this platform and talk about faith and environmental justice and what we're doing in Virginia, what we're doing with students and universities. So let's shake things up and keep our ideas flowing. And in the meantime, we will see if there's any other questions. I don't think there's any right now, so that's okay. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide if that sounds good. So thanks again, everybody. Awesome. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide after the Green the Church slide. And what we're doing is we are calling all of our supporters all over the world, internationally, our Earth Squad. So all of our supporters, and that can be members and partners, volunteers, will be our Earth Squad. So it's a new name that we've come up with, but we are looking for a name for our volunteers. So these are a few name ideas we have. I invite everyone to comment and let us know if you have other ideas. These are our top 3. So we have Team Earth, Tree Huggers, Global Guardians. We had a few others like Earth Shakers, but they just don't translate in every language. So we want to make sure this is a universal name for our volunteers specifically that are part of our Earth Squad. So if you like these names, you can shoot it in the comments and say, hey, I love Team Earth, or hey, I've got another great idea for you. And we just want to kind of keep that conversation going as we're wrapping this up in our presentation right now. And we'll go ahead and go to the next slide.
Absolutely. To give you all an idea of how not only the great volunteers that we brought in to speak with us today got involved with earthday.org, but all of the opportunities that are available, here are a list of some of our focus areas that we work within as earthday.org. We've already heard a little bit about the faith program from our guests from Green the Church and Interfaith Power and Light, but this program is all about creating spiritual connections between people and the planet, inspiring them to action through calling upon one's faith. Our Green Cities program, similarly, we heard from Michelle today from Atlanta about how we work together to foster sustainable growth and a healthy human habitat for all of us to grow and thrive within. And we work with cities and municipalities across the country to be able to develop climate action plans and move the needle forwards towards a sustainable future. One of those ways within these sustainable futures and localities that we really like to focus on is the Global Climate Literacy Campaign, in which we want to unite the world to educate the leaders of tomorrow, whether they be business leaders, nonprofit leaders, or the people that are moving and shaking our world politics and economies. We want everybody to understand that a healthy world is one that we can thrive and be successful in. The Canopy Project is how we can make sure that the rest of the organisms on Earth have a place to thrive as well. We work together to plant millions of trees, in which $1 equals 1 tree planted, to reforest our rapidly shrinking old growth forests across the world. Our Great Global Cleanup, likewise, makes sure that our beaches, rivers, waterways, and home communities are free of plastic waste and free of pollutants that are detrimental to not only humans, but all life on Earth as well. We heard a little bit about this today from our guest from Keep Virginia Beautiful, but we work with millions of people around the world every year to get out and volunteer to clean up plastic pollution. And one important reason to do that is to keep these pollutants from working their way into our agricultural system. One topic of many of the natural and technological solutions that are put forth by our Food and Environment campaign, which seeks to revolutionize the production and consumption of our food systems nationwide, focusing not only on local solutions, but how to create changes to our national agriculture system as well. And one important way in which we're going to be able to make that change, one essential way in which we would do so, is through direct action. Our volunteer programs encourage people to be able to be advocates to their local, federal, and state elected leaders, to let the people that can make these changes know that this is what needs to be done in order to represent the constituency. And so we break down barriers and raise up the benefits to action so that no matter who we are, we can find a way to participate, and in one which way being artists for the earth. Artists being a broad definition, that doesn't just include painters, but also musicians and performers and creatives of all sorts to use culture to create change in our communities. And there really is a wealth of creativity within our volunteers worldwide. And one way, and across many, in which we would love for you to express that creativity, of course, is to comment some of those name ideas that Tara just mentioned a moment ago, to find a creative name that encapsulates the global vision of what our volunteers can and should be. one thing in which we should be, of course, is remembering to keep environmental justice and equity at the forefront of all the work that we do, and that any solution to the world's complex environmental issues needs to be one that is equitable for all. All of these and more come together to form our grand vision to restore our Earth. All of these different focus areas consider the natural, technological, and community-based solutions that come together to create that bright future that we all want to work towards in order to survive and thrive. And I'm sure that if you're as inspired as we are right now, you're thinking to yourselves, so how can I get involved in these focus areas and more? And the first step, which I'm sure some of you have taken, as we've seen in the comments, is to become an official Earth Day volunteer, which we will see on the next slide.
Yeah, and in the essence of time, I'm going to speed these last few slides along because we have come to like the full time frame that we allotted for this event. So we don't want to take up too much space for everyone. So this is a great way, like Evan said, for you to volunteer with us. And there's a link that's shared in the comments. You can register to become a volunteer today, and we hope that you will. And then I'm going to have Halsey move to the next slide, and we're just going to kind of zoom through these last few ones because we are looking for regional coordinators, volunteer coordinators to work with us at earthday.org and help expand our volunteer reach in the regions of the United States, in the Northwest, Southwest, Midwest, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and Southeast. And we're going to start with volunteer coordinators in each of those sectors. And you can reach out to us via email. You can reach out to us online. We are available in so many different ways. I'm going to share my email personally right now on the comments so that people can reach out to us that way. And we'll send some more information to all of our volunteers in an email about all of these opportunities coming up. And if we can move over to the next slide, we'll go ahead and start wrapping this up. And if you still have questions or comments for our panelists, please put those in there now so we can ask them before we wrap this up in the next minute or two. But these will be our next upcoming volunteer events. We'll have citizen engagement and Lobby 101, how to write opinion editorials and LTEs, advocacy training for our Earth Day on the Hill Lobby Day in October. All of these and more will be coming up. In the next slide. And then we also have our social squad. This is a great way to get involved and expand the reach through social media, right? How do you influence different events and different targets that are out there, legislative, constituents, you name it. Anyone you're trying to get out to, we want to get you engaged with our post and sharing our social media. So our team is really powerful, and we will make sure that we get you involved with that. So you can sign up for our social squad too. And Evan, if you have a link to that, that'd be great to share that in the chat too. And Micah asked a question about planting a community tree planting. So we're posting an answer to that for you right now. If we can move on to the next, I think we just have one more slide that gives you our contact information on it too. And I'll let Evan close us out. And I just want to give one more round of applause to our amazing panelists. If we can just bring them back on one more time, if they're still there, and give everyone a round of applause. And Evan, if you could close us out, that'd be amazing. And thanks to all of you out there. We couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank all of you for taking time out of your day to join with us today, hear about the great work that our superstar partners have accomplished with us for Earth Day 2021, and learning about how we can turn Earth Day into every day in the coming year. To remind all of you, please feel free to follow the link posted in the chat to sign up as a volunteer to make sure that you stay up to date with all of the great events on the calendar that we just shared with you, amongst many more opportunities to come. And if you're looking for a way to help us achieve the grand scale that we seek to accomplish every Earth Day, and be the nexus between our national organization and on-the-ground volunteers in your community and region, please reach out to us about becoming a regional coordinator. We are looking forward to hearing from all of you, and I hope that from hearing not only from us, but from our community leaders that have come to join us from around the country, you personally feel inspired as well to join us not only on Earth Day 2022, but throughout the year. Thank you again for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.